I'm Isaac Muller, a proud Palawa and Wiradjuri man coming to you from Naarm, Melbourne. The ABC's Heywire competition has been running for over 26 years, showcasing more than 13,000 diverse stories from young people in regional, rural and remote Australia. We respectfully continue the tradition of storytelling that has been taking place on this land for tens of thousands of years. Now, to kickstart the race, our first young legend is following in the footsteps of her idol, Kathy Freeman. Lexi's from Wongai country in Laverton, Western Australia. Let's go, Lexi.
I'm a fast runner. My main event is 800 metres. My family call me the next Kathy Freeman because I win all my races. I've broken the local 100 metre, 800 metre, 1500 metre records. I feel free when I run. Running makes my anxiety go away. For a moment, all my problems disappear. When I'm lost, my whole family is lost too. In our family, we all care for each other. Mum's a swimmer. She gets how being on the track is quiet. Mum taught me how to be strong
Have a look there, Lexi. Calculus over there.
and learn about my culture. She says winning isn't always everything. You play for your team, not yourself. My best and fairest awards are just as important as my trophies. Sometimes I train at the Laverton horse racing track on the dusty red dirt. It's the only spot with no prickles, and it's the only place with numbers where I can measure out my distance. Sometimes when I run a lap around the whole town, my family will be in the car cheering me on.
Go, Lexi!
When I run, the world goes quiet. That's why I run.
I'm so lucky to live in northern Tassie, Palawa country, surrounded by pristine wilderness and crystal clear waters. Perfect conditions for doing what I love.
Fly fishing for trout.
A few years ago, Dad taught me how, and I've never looked back. Fly fishing is all about the way you cast, using the weight of the line instead of the weight of the lure or sinker. It takes a while to learn how to cast and to get the rhythmic technique right. But when you fool and catch a wild trout, it feels incredible. I also love that I can sustain myself through fly fishing. Coming home to cook what I've gathered from the land and sharing it with family and friends is satisfying. Trout taste best smoked. I make all my own flies from feathers and hooks. My little brother helps. He's even jumped into blackberry bushes to get feathers for me. Today, I'm heading to a special spot. The trout are plentiful here, but hard to fool. Standing in the water, I picture myself at the centre of an imaginary clock. Then I cast back to 10 o'clock and forwards to 2 o'clock. I wait for the trout to take the fly, then lift the line.
Go on.
It's always a thrill to reel the fish into the bank. For some people, fly fishing's a competitive sport, but for me, it's all about living in the moment and taking in the world. If I feel overwhelmed with school, I always go fly fishing. Being out in this beautiful country clears my head and revitalises me. Around every bend, there are countless opportunities and experiences, each one as spectacular as the last.
7 months ago, I moved from a small rural town in Vietnam to Lismore in northern New South Wales. Everything in my world changed. New country, new language, new school. I was filled with fear. I had to adapt fast. Making friends was difficult as my English wasn't great and people couldn't understand my accent. I kept to myself, stayed quiet, and couldn't wait for school to end each day. I felt isolated and lonely. But that all changed when I was asked to be in the school play. I couldn't believe it. Singing, dancing, and acting was a huge part of my life in Vietnam. But I had become so shy and withdrawn. I wasn't sure if I could perform. During rehearsals, I realized how supportive and kind the other students were. We were in this together. Over time, my confidence grew. When we performed on the stage in front of the school, I finally felt like me. Now, I'm on a mission. In my journal, I have written a list of all the things I want to achieve this year. I called it Revolution 2024. I've joined the debating team, the chess club, STEM workshop, band practice, choir, and the SRC. And I also put my hand up for the next school play. You might think it's a lot of extra activities, but that was my life in Vietnam. It's only been 7 months, but Lismore is now starting to feel like home to me. Now, I embrace change. Fear just something for me to overcome.
When I was 13, I was in a deep depression. There was nothing that really made me happy, nothing to look forward to. When I'd get home, I would just sit on the couch and watch TV until it was time for bed. I was all alone in my emotions. To get my mind off things, my parents signed me up for school drum lessons, and Dad let me use his old kit. It didn't click right away, but I kept at it. I could feel my skills improving with every practice. It was all I could think about. Like I'd be doing my homework and suddenly find myself tapping the keys as hi-hats and snares with an invisible kick drum below. Sometimes Dad brings out the guitar and we just jam. Music brings us closer. Lucky for us, our neighbours aren't close by, so we can rock out. Today I'm playing with the school band for NAIDOC Week. Keeping the rhythm of a whole band is a bit of pressure, but I love it. When I play with the band, I can hear everything coming together while I keep up the rhythm. The pressure used to freak me out, but now I play better in front of a crowd. I want to make music my life. It could be playing in a band, touring the world, or teaching others how to make music their passion. I'm so glad I took it up, as it helped me through my lowest point. Music can change your perception, how you see the world. When I play, all my worries go away. It's just me, my kit, and the music.
My family is from a small town called Bayugal in northern New South Wales. It's a place of extremes. There's breathtaking beauty in the landmarks where my ancestors have walked and swum for thousands of years. but seeped into the soil is great sadness. About a kilometre away from Bayugal is the scars of an asbestos mine. Its deadly legacy has drilled deep into the community. My great-grandfather and Pop worked at the mine. Mum says they used to come home covered in white dust.
It was so thick, all you can see was their eyes and their big smile.
I never got to know them. The mine closed in 1979. Within a decade, they both died. My parents moved to Lismore before I was born. When I was 12, my parents brought me and my 4 brothers back to Bayugal to teach us about our culture. At the Pines, I learnt how to find honey from native black bees. It was the first time I tried jubble, witchetty grub. It tastes good when it's cooked. The Long Bridge is where I spent many hot summer days. I float down the river on my back, looking at the sky. From the first time I came here, I knew this is my country, my home. A lot of knowledge about my tribe, the Whirlable tribe, died with my great-grandfather. I'm sad the knowledge was lost because of the mine, but I'm glad I can still learn about my culture to help it survive for future generations.
Adrenaline and nerves. A whole lot of them. I push aside the self-doubt, focus on my breathing, think about my form and technique. Shoulders down, core on, big air. I reach for the bar and lift. I clear almost twice my body weight on deadlift. My family cheer me on. It's not a record, but my squat and bench lifts are. My combined efforts put me in first place for my weight and age category, and I've set new national records. I think about how far I've come.
So what are you going to focus on today?
Gonna go on the treadmill, do some cardio. I come from an active family, but powerlifting had never been on my radar. Until one day, I spotted the powerlifters on the other side of the gym. I was in awe of their strength. I wanted to be like them. I started training in my local gym in Lismore. Within a year, I qualified for nationals.
3, 2, all yours.
My coach Josh knows when to push me
Press. Good. One more.
and when I'm hitting my limit.
Good work.
I love my gym family.
Roll. Good.
Everyone's so supportive and it's a great environment.
Good job.
Outside of the gym, I don't look like a competitive powerlifter, but word's gotten around.
Guys, can I get a hand lifting some boxes, please?
Yeah, get Jada. She's stronger than all of us.
I like smashing stereotypes.
And surprising people.
Discipline and goals. That's what it takes to succeed. The physical strength you can build over time, but only if you put in the work. I love feeling strong and powerful. It's helped me build my self-confidence. In the world of competitive powerlifting, I want to go as far as my body will take me.
And I'm happy to report that Jada's since taken out first place in the Capo Powerlifting National Championships for her division, and set 4 world records for her weight and age category in the process. Now that's impressive. If you're a young person in regional, rural or remote Australia and want to share your story, now's your chance to tell it like it is. Entries to the Heywire storytelling competition can be submitted at abc.net.au/Heywire in any format, including writing, video, photos and audio. Winners will have their stories featured on the ABC like the ones we are seeing today. And you will also win a trip to the Heywire Regional Youth Summit held in Canberra. Now, over to the cattle farms on Bunjalung Country, Tatham, New South Wales, where Emily's competing in the local livestock competitions.
There's something about cows that intrigues me. I like how they're quiet and shy, a bit like me. We don't own cattle on our farm, but fortunately my neighbours do, and they don't mind when I hop the fence to help out. For my birthday, the only thing I wanted was to go to a cattle auction. I love being around all that excitement. Last year, I studied agriculture at school. The classroom was in a shed and the lessons held in paddocks. It immediately became my favourite subject. I was taught how to care for cattle and prepare them for showing in competitions. I'd never done anything like that before, but soon it was all I could think about. Training a steer is like training a big dog. They each have their own personalities. But you can't get too attached, knowing they're going to end up at the meatworks. To help learn more about the meat industry, I decorated my bedroom with posters of cattle and meat cuts. This came in handy when I entered the Hoof and Hook youth competitions around the area. Not only did I parade my neighbour's steer in the ring, but I also got to judge the cattle and the quality of the beef. She's a great heifer, she hasn't fully developed as the other three. For the carcass judging, you get 5 minutes to answer questions about the shape, colour and marbling of the meat. Explaining my score to the judge was daunting, but I eventually relaxed and it felt right. I ended up placing second. In the future, I want to start a Hereford stud and breed my own cattle. Judging livestock has given me the confidence I didn't know I had. And my shyness disappears once I stand in that ring.
I'm in the car with my auntie, my sister and my mum. I live in Conjarling, Albany, but Mum's storyline goes to Noangarup. That's where we're going. When I see the outline of Koikananaruff, the Stirling Ranges, I get that tingling feeling.
This is where my ancestors are. I know I'm a country. I know I'm home.
When we get to the gravesite, the rakes and dustpans are taken out of the car. We walk to where my ancestors are, all together. We tidy up the graves, rake the leaves and lay flowers. We take a moment to recognise our ancestors. Mum and Auntie Donna tell stories about them and what they've done for the family. Mum works in community services. She helps people. I want to do something like that. Helping others helps me too. That's why it's important to be around my elders, like Auntie Donna and Pop Elvis. They tell stories about their life. Despite the racism that they survived, like the stolen generation, they still tell stories about their resilience and joy, connecting to country and honouring our ancestors. I learn a lot from my elders and from my mum, like that respect goes a long way. They remind me that I'm a proud Baladongarang Manangnunga woman. And I remind them that I'm here to listen and keep these stories safe.
I've grown up in a Viking village where there are clever craftsmen and fearless warriors. I've whittled away many Saturdays watching my mum on the battlefield. She swings her metal sword and I can hear it clang against leather armor and chainmail. My family has been a part of Ragnar's Lith for as long as I can remember. It's a Viking reenactment group in Lismore. During winter solstice, the group sets up a Viking village right here in the middle of town. It's like stepping back in time. There's Dark Age weaving and leather making. And spit roasts and stews big enough to feed a hungry horde. I have my own costume. It resembles what Viking villagers would have worn. I haven't found my role in the lift yet, but I've tried a few things. Carving was a big part of Viking life, and it's my latest hobby. I'm neurodiverse, and sometimes I get hyperfixated on things. I went through a Dungeons and Dragons phase, but cooking has been a constant. When I find a meal I really like, I make it again and again until it's perfect. Then I move on to the next thing. It's like my mind craves the unexpected. I struggle with routine. My kryptonite is repetitiveness. I think that's why I like carving. You can make anything, even if it's just the perfect marshmallow stick. I want to get good enough to carve weapons for the Viking battlefield. To me, the most interesting thing about RE Necron Group is they're tough as hell. The combatants get bruises and don't complain. Some people think it's strange when I tell them I've grown up in a Viking village. But I think it's awesome.
The gym is like a second home to me. I train and coach 2 times a day, 5 times a week. Jiu-Jitsu is a martial art based on grappling your opponent. It's a more complicated version of wrestling with arm locks, leg locks, and chokes chucked in the mix. My mum and dad are both black belts. You could say I was born on the mats. Having a coach who is consistently there for you is hard to find, especially for kids who live in the country. My parents have sacrificed a lot to support my jiu-jitsu training, and I'm grateful my dad is one of my coaches.
Go for the leg, inside the leg, pull.
Dad's a tough coach. Even if I get frustrated with him, I know he's always in my corner. I am Tongan and Aboriginal as well as Christian. I'm fiercely proud of who I am. My culture, faith, and communities make me whole. This gym, the coaches and training partners are all my family. They help me in my darkest moments. I've struggled with anxiety my whole life. It was hard when I started competing. It feels like I'm playing a physical and mental game of chess. During matches, you get stuck in tight spots and have to figure a way out. My other coach, Luke, understands my struggle. He listens to me and guides me through my anxiety. Last year, I made it to the World Championships in America and brought home double bronze. That was just the start of my international career in Jiu-Jitsu. I want to inspire others and make my parents proud. Jiu-Jitsu has taught me a foundation for life.
Infantile myofibromatosis. It's a rare medical condition, like my body didn't quite follow the recipe when I was born. It's a long and tricky word that I've had to use a lot. It basically means tumours grow in my skin, muscles, bones, and sometimes my organs. They're not cancerous, but when they grow, they can damage the things around them. I have scars from all the surgeries to cut the tumours out. But some grow in places where the surgeons can't operate. When that happens, it means weekly hospital visits and chemotherapy.
Hello. Good to see you.
Hi.
What's happened in the last couple of weeks?
I have been having some breathing problems.
Okay.
It can take up to 6 hours in an MRI machine.
I'll check back with you in a sec.
Right. There's been times when I've gone to hospital and haven't come home for weeks. My immune system becomes too weak to leave. Right now, I'm trying to do my homework, but writing can be painful. My condition means my hands can get tingly or numb, and I can lose grip of things. Sometimes it's hard to walk. I've lost a lot of friends, good ones, I guess it can be hard having a friend who's chronically ill. It doesn't make it hurt any less. Infantile myofibromatosis is a big part of my life, but it's not who I am. I love shopping, baking, and looking after animals. I'm part of the egg community at school. I look after the goats, Huey and Dewey. They're sweet, but also a little cheeky. There's something special about caring for animals. It's been a decade since my diagnosis. I've lived way longer than anyone expected. I think having infantile myofibromatosis has taught me to be a kind, patient, and empathetic person. The one thing I'm still learning is how to spell it.
I feel at home when I'm doing athletics. Discus, shot put, javelin, long jump, running, I love it all. When I do long jump, it feels like I'm flying. Sometimes it's scary, but also exciting. I can't decide if long jump or javelin is my favorite. I like long jump because I'm pretty sure I can make the Olympics with it. But javelin is in my blood. My ancestors have been throwing spears for thousands of years. It comes naturally to me. My coach Don helps me with my technique.
That was really good, Malachi. It went straight. You brought your right hand over and you slapped your leg. That's the way it's supposed to go.
I travel a lot for competitions. I brought home a lot of medals. They're hanging up in my room. There's not enough space on the walls for all of them. I used to be disappointed if I didn't get gold. Now, I'm all about breaking records, knowing my name's making history. Usain Bolt is my idol. I also look up to Alberto Campbell. He's the same classification as me, T20. He's also adopted like me. I've come a long way with my athletics, but I still want to go much further.
So just keep it steady and then we'll move on to the leg stuff.
My exercise coach Sam is helping me get to the 2032 Paralympics.
Big lift, go, 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 go. Nice.
We're finding muscles that my body doesn't use and figuring out ways to get them working.
Alright, we're gonna hold it for 30 seconds. Keep going, almost there. Nice.
I don't get nervous when I compete. It's just natural now because I've done it for years. I don't have to think, it's just instinct. When I'm doing athletics, my mind goes quiet. I feel like it's where I belong.
Too true, Malachi. It's so important for everyone to have a place where they belong. That's why I'm so stoked for you to be part of the Heywire competition. Check out more of the stories on the Heywire website at abc.net.au/Heywire. You can also find them on the ABC YouTube channel, Listen app, or on the Heywire Instagram page. And if you know a young person with a story to tell, encourage them to enter the Heywire competition. I'm Isaac, and I hope you've enjoyed watching these young Australians telling their story their way. See you next time.